Chosen ones, hear me and hear me well. God is watching and he is not pleased. There are moments in life when the world will offer you everything, power, riches, influence, but at a cost that seems small at first. But in truth, it is the price of your soul. God's anger is not like man's anger. It is not rage or vengeance. It is a divine force of correction. When you feel resistance, when doors that seem good slam shut, when everything in you screams, don't do it. It is God Himself keeping you from destruction. The enemy is subtle. He doesn't tempt you with things you hate, he tempts you with things you desire. But not all that glitters is gold, and not every opportunity is a blessing. Some are traps disguised as shortcuts to success. Today I am here to warn you, no matter how great the gain, don't do it. Hold the line, because what God has for you is greater than anything the world can offer. Every chosen one will face a moment where the world offers them everything they've ever wanted, wrapped in the illusion of easy gain. The offer will seem perfect: money without struggle, power without patience, success without sacrifice. It will whisper to you, this is what you've been praying for. And in that moment, the temptation will be strong because the enemy knows exactly what you desire. But here's the truth that few understand. Anything that requires you to compromise your integrity, to lower your standards, or to betray your divine path is not a blessing, it is a trap. The world operates on deception. It parades wealth before your eyes and says this is the ultimate goal. It shows you those who took shortcuts and makes you believe they have won, but what is not shown is the price they paid. Every deal made in darkness comes with a debt that must be repaid, and the cost is always higher than the gain. The moment you trade your soul for temporary success, you set in motion an unseen law that will bring that very success to ruin. What seems like a step forward will turn into a snare that pulls you 10 steps back. The chosen ones are not called to chase illusions. You were designed for something far greater than the fleeting rewards of this world. That is why you often feel disconnected from the desires of the masses. Others are satisfied with shortcuts, but something in you knows there is more. You cannot settle. You cannot be bought. And because of that, you will be tested. The enemy will place opportunities in front of you that seem perfect. Money that requires just a little dishonesty, influence that requires just a little compromise, power that demands just a small betrayal of what you know is right. And the enemy will say, it's just this once, no one will know, but you will know, and God will know. The illusion of worldly gain is that it appears to elevate you, when in reality, it enslaves you. The moment you accept what was never meant for you, you become bound to the source that gave it to you. This is why so many people who seem to have everything still feel empty, anxious, or lost. They made the trade. They accepted what was easy instead of waiting for what was divine. And now they are trapped. God does not withhold blessings, but He does delay them to test your faith. Will you hold on even when the world offers you a counterfeit? Will you trust in the unseen even when the seen looks so appealing? This is where the chosen ones are separated from the masses. The masses chase after everything that glitters, but the chosen understand that true wealth, true power, and true influence come only from alignment with the divine. And when you stand firm, when you refuse to take what is not yours, something miraculous happens. The very things you once desire begin to chase after you, not in a way that binds you, but in a way that frees you. Do not be deceived. Not every open door is from God, and not every opportunity is a blessing. The enemy knows your weaknesses, and he will use them to lure you into a trap. But if you stay rooted in truth, if you refuse to bow to the illusion of worldly gain, you will walk into a victory that no man can take from you. What is built by faith is eternal. What is gained by compromise will always crumble. Hello, what is built by faith is eternal. What is gained by compromise will always crumble. The choice is yours. Choose wisely. God's anger is not the human emotion we often imagine. It is not reckless wrath or uncontrolled rage. It is divine correction. It is the force that stops you when you're about to step into something destructive. It is the resistance you feel when you're about to make a choice that will cost you far more than you realize. Most people misinterpret this. They think that when things are difficult, when doors close, or when plans fall apart, it means they are being punished. The chosen ones must understand a deeper truth. When you belong to God, His anger is not to destroy you, but to awaken you. There are moments when we are drawn toward things that look good but are actually poison. A business deal that promises massive success but requires bending the truth. A relationship that offers comfort but pulls you away from your purpose. An opportunity that seems too good to pass up but demands a piece of your soul in exchange. And just as you are about to step into it, everything seems to push against you. Plans collapse. People betray you. Obstacles rise out of nowhere. You wonder why everything is suddenly going wrong. But is it really going wrong, or is it going right? Is it possible that what feels like frustration is actually divine protection? The anger of God moves through your life like a storm, shaking everything that is not meant to stand. When you try to force your way into something that is beneath your calling, you will feel that resistance. When you start to settle for less than what He has for you, you will experience discomfort, disappointment, even pain. But this is not to harm you. It is to wake you up before it's too late. The chosen ones do not get to take shortcuts. What others get away with, you cannot. What others enjoy for a season, you will suffer for a lifetime. And that is why the moment you step out of alignment, God makes it known. Many people mistake this resistance for failure. They assume that because something is difficult, it must not be meant for them. But chosen ones must develop discernment. There is a difference between a trial that builds you and a warning that redirects you. A trial is something you push through because it strengthens you, but a warning is something you heed because it saves you. When you feel like God is blocking your path, do not fight against it. Pause. Ask yourself, is this truly meant for me, or is it a counterfeit? Because here is the truth. God does not allow His chosen ones to be comfortable in compromise. This is why some people seem to thrive in darkness while you cannot. They move forward in deception and prosper, while every time you try to take the easy route, something stops you. This is not misfortune. It is divine intervention. It is God saying, you are not like them. You are mine. He will let the world go its way, but He will not let you go down that road without resistance. His anger is not against you. It is against the things that would destroy you. It is against the influences trying to pull you away from your destiny. It is against the enemies that come disguised as blessings. So, when you feel like everything is falling apart, when the path you thought was right suddenly becomes impossible to walk, do not despair. Instead, recognize the hand of God moving in your life. Understand that His anger is not rejection, it is refinement. It is love in its most powerful form. He is not stopping you to punish you. He is stopping you to prepare you. And when the time is right, when you have let go of every false promise and every deceptive opportunity, you will see what He was protecting you for all along, something greater than you ever imagined. Everything you experience in this world is a reflection of what you accept as true in your imagination. This is the law that governs reality, yet most people live unaware of its power. They believe they are victims of circumstances, subject to the whims of fate, but the chosen ones know better. You do not react to the world, you create it. And this is why you must be vigilant with what you allow to take root in your mind. Temptation does not begin with an action, it begins in the imagination. It starts as a thought, a possibility, an idea whispered in your mind. What if I took the shortcut? What if I compromised just a little? What if I accepted this opportunity, even though it requires me to go against what I know is right? At first, it seems harmless, but the moment you entertain it, the moment you allow it to linger in your consciousness, it begins to take form. Your imagination is the soil, and whatever is planted in it will grow. The enemy understands this law well. He does not need to force you into bad decisions. He only needs to get you to accept them mentally. If he can convince you to dwell on the idea of easy gain, if he can get you to justify small compromises in your mind, then he has already won. Because once something is fully accepted in your imagination, it will manifest in your life. And by the time you realize it, by the time you see the consequences, it will be too late. But the opposite is also true. If you refuse to entertain thoughts of compromise, if you reject every mental image that contradicts your divine purpose, then those things cannot take root in your life. You must guard your imagination fiercely. You must discipline your mind to see only what aligns with your highest calling. Because whatever you persistently imagine will harden into fact. God has already placed within you everything you need. You do not have to chase after what is yours. You do not need to force opportunities or manipulate situations to get ahead. The chosen ones walk by faith, not by sight, because they understand that the unseen world of imagination is more real than anything the eyes can perceive. When you accept your divine inheritance mentally, when you refuse to settle for anything less, the world will have no choice but to rearrange itself to match your inner vision. This is why temptation is so dangerous. It is not just about the physical act, it is about the shift in consciousness. The moment you allow yourself to believe that you need to compromise to succeed, you step out of alignment with divine law. You begin to create from fear instead of faith. And fear always leads to limitation. But when you remain steadfast in your vision, when you refuse to let any thought enter your mind that contradicts your purpose, you set in motion forces greater than any opposition. The battle is always won in the mind first. If you conquer temptation in your imagination, you will never have to fight it in the physical world. But if you entertain it mentally, if you allow yourself to believe that you can take shortcuts and still receive the full blessing, then you will manifest struggle and loss. The chosen ones do not operate by the rules of this world. They understand that reality bends to those who know who they are and refuse to waver. So, discipline your mind. Do not allow thoughts of lack, fear, or compromise to take root. Imagine only what is in alignment with the highest truth and watch as the world transforms before your eyes. Because what you accept in consciousness, you will experience in reality. Choose wisely what you allow yourself to believe. Every chosen one will face moments that test their faith. Moments where the path of righteousness seems too slow and the path of compromise seems too rewarding. These moments are not accidents. They are crossroads, defining points in your journey that reveal who you truly are. The enemy knows what you desire, and he will disguise shortcuts as opportunities. He will make the wrong path look easy and the right path look difficult. But this is the test. Will you remain faithful to the unseen promise, or will you take what is being dangled in front of you? The world teaches people to seize opportunities, to take what they can while they can, even if it means bending the truth, cutting corners, or betraying principles. But the chosen ones operate by a higher law. They understand that not every open door is from God. Some doors lead to temporary success, but long-term bondage. Some doors offer wealth, but at the cost of your soul. And the greatest deception of all is that these opportunities often look like blessings. A chosen one must have discernment. The enemy does not present temptation in an obvious form. He does not show up and say, "Here is a trap." Instead, he makes the trap look like a blessing. He offers money when you are struggling, but it requires dishonesty. He offers companionship when you are lonely, but it pulls you away from your purpose. He offers influence, but it comes at the cost of your integrity. And because you're human, because you have desires and needs, you will feel the pull. Your mind will try to justify it just this once. No one will know. God will understand. But deep down, your spirit will know the truth. When you face these moments, you must stand firm. You must remind yourself that no temporary gain is worth permanent loss. The enemy's strategy has not changed. He offered Jesus the world if he would just bow down once. But what the enemy offers is always a cheap imitation of what God has already promised. The world will try to convince you that you need to take matters into your own hands, that you need to force doors open. But God's timing is perfect. When he opens a door, no one can shut it. And when he closes a door, no one can force it open. Patience is one of the hardest lessons for the chosen ones. There will be times when you watch others take shortcuts and succeed while you wait. You will see those who compromise gain wealth, power, and recognition while you remain in the shadows. But do not be deceived. What is built on a foundation of compromise will eventually crumble. The chosen ones do not settle for temporary victories. They understand that waiting in faith is not wasting time, it is preparation. Every test you face is a refining fire. It is meant to strengthen you, to prove your faithfulness, to purify your desires. If you pass the test, if you refuse to take what is not meant for you, you will walk into something far greater. You will receive the kind of success that comes with peace, the kind of wealth that cannot be taken away, the kind of influence that does not require manipulation. Many have fallen because they could not resist the temptation of quick success. Many have traded their divine inheritance for momentary gain. But you are not like them. You are called to something higher. And if you can resist the urge to take what is easy, if you can trust that what God has for you is worth the wait, then you will walk into blessings that are beyond anything you could have imagined. Stand firm. Do not bow. The reward for your faithfulness will be greater than the cost of your patience. Victory does not belong to those who move the fastest, shout the loudest, or compromise the most. It belongs to those who remain faithful. In a world that rewards deception, impatience, and shortcuts, the chosen ones stand apart. They do not chase after the things of this world. They attract them through unwavering faith and alignment with divine purpose. This is why the battle is not about talent, connections, or luck. It is about endurance. The ones who refuse to bow, who refuse to be bought, who refuse to sell their soul for temporary gain, will always win in the end. The enemy knows that most people will trade their birthright for a moment of comfort. He knows that many will accept a counterfeit blessing if it means avoiding struggle, but the chosen ones are different. They understand that the delay is not denial, it is preparation. Every test, every trial, every rejection is shaping you for something greater. It is easy to doubt when nothing seems to be happening, when the enemy whispers, "Look at them. See how they are prospering while you wait." But that kind of prosperity is an illusion. The success that comes from deception is never real success. It is a house built on sand, and when the storm comes, it will fall. The chosen ones build on rock. They do not take what is not theirs. They do not move before their time. They do not force doors open that God has closed. And because of this, their victory is inevitable. What is truly meant for you cannot be taken by anyone else. It cannot be stolen, delayed, or destroyed. But you must remain faithful to receive it. There will be moments when it feels like you are being left behind. You will see others rise, and you will wonder if your time will ever come. But understand this: God is not preparing a small blessing for you. He is preparing something so great, so unshakable, that it requires time. The ones who rush ahead will always reach their limit, but the ones who wait on divine timing will walk into something that no man can undo. The greatest victories are given to those who refuse to settle. The moment you compromise, the moment you accept less than what God has for you, you forfeit the true reward. This is why the test is not about talent or intelligence. It is about patience, endurance, and faith. Will you hold the line when everything in you wants to quit? Will you trust the unseen when the seen looks more promising? Will you stand when the world says bow? The ultimate victory does not come to the strongest or the most powerful. It comes to the most faithful. It comes to the ones who refuse to break under pressure, who refuse to take the easy way out, who refuse to let fear dictate their decisions. These are the ones who rise when others fall. These are the ones who walk into blessings that others thought were impossible. The enemy will always try to convince you that compromise is the only way forward. He will tell you that you must betray your principles to succeed, but that is a lie. The chosen ones do not chase success. Success chases them. When you remain aligned with divine truth, when you refuse to move before your time, when you hold on to the unseen promise no matter how long it takes, you position yourself for a victory that no enemy can take away. The final reward belongs to the faithful. It is not given to those who started strong, but to those who endure to the end. Do not be deceived by temporary victories. Keep your eyes on the eternal. What is meant for you is already yours. Stay the course, stand firm, and watch as everything you have been promised unfolds before you. There is a hidden power in obedience, a force that moves mountains, opens doors, and reshapes reality itself. But obedience is not about following rules blindly. It is about alignment. It is about tuning yourself to the frequency of divine will, allowing every thought, every action, every decision to be guided by something higher than mere logic. The chosen ones are not called to live by what is seen, but by what is revealed. And when you obey that revelation, when you move in sync with the divine plan rather than your own desires, you step into a realm where miracles are not rare occurrences, but a natural way of life. The world does not understand this. It operates by effort, manipulation, and control. It tells you that if you want something, you must take it, force it, make it happen. But the chosen ones do not operate by these principles. They understand that true power does not come from striving, it comes from surrender. Not surrender to fear or weakness, but surrender to divine wisdom. When God says, wait, they wait. When he says move, they move. When he says let go, they release what is not meant for them. And because of this, they live in a flow that others cannot comprehend. Disobedience is costly. Many have lost their way because they allowed impatience to rule them. They could not see the full picture, so they moved ahead of divine timing. They thought they knew better, so they ignored the warnings, only to find themselves trapped in situations that drained them, broke them, and left them empty. Every act of disobedience carries consequences, not because God is punishing, but because stepping out of alignment disconnects you from the divine flow. And once you are disconnected, you are forced to rely on your own strength, and that strength will always fail. The chosen ones do not live like the rest of the world. They understand that obedience is the key to effortless victory. The moment you align yourself with divine will, things begin to move without struggle. What others chase after comes to you. What others fight for is simply given. This is the mystery of divine order. When you stop trying to control everything, you realize that everything is already perfectly arranged. But this requires trust. It requires the willingness to walk in the dark, to follow the voice of God even when it makes no sense to the logical mind. There will always be moments when you are tempted to take control, to force things, to make decisions out of fear or frustration. But these are the moments that define your destiny. Will you surrender to divine timing, or will you push forward in your own strength? Will you trust that what is meant for you will come, or will you grasp at whatever is in front of you? The chosen ones understand that the highest path is not always the easiest, but it is always the most rewarding. Obedience is not weakness. It is the highest form of wisdom. It is knowing that divine intelligence sees further than you ever could. It is understanding that what looks like a delay is actually preparation. It is realizing that what feels like a loss is often protection. Those who truly trust never have to chase, never have to manipulate, never have to compromise. They stand firm, knowing that the promise is already theirs. And because they do not waver, because they do not break under pressure, they inherit what others lose. The world will never understand this way of living. It will call you foolish for waiting. It will tell you that success belongs to those who seize it by force. But the chosen ones know better. They know that what is taken by force must be maintained by force. But what is received through obedience is effortless, unshakable, and eternal. Stay in alignment. Do not move before your time, and watch as everything you have been promised unfolds before you, not by your own effort, but by divine design.